Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the Red Hot NoDQ Review. And this is number 136. And I am Virtue, being joined by this week's elite panel of NoDQ, consisting, as always, of myself, Aaron Rift. Big G has become a pretty much normal staple here every Thursday night. And joining us in the fourth spot this time, it's Noah Foster. What's up, man?
Not much. It's good to see you guys again. Looking forward to talking wrestling with you, as a lot of things to discuss, and it's good to be back.
All right, good to have you here. Yes, we do have some things to discuss, and I'm sure there'll be super chat questions and all that good stuff along the way. Big G, you are here, and you are happy to be here.
Exactly.
What's up?
I'm doing pretty good. Had a good birthday this past Monday. Other than that, I'm accepting Roman Reigns as the head of the table and the tribal chief now. Other than that, I'm doing good.
Wait. Now? Like
no, not now.
Before? Just now. Is that what I'm getting at?
It's official now. It's official.
It's got
Just
the
because
gear
you got a shirt?
It's official now.
All right.
Official.
Whatever. Okay. Thank you, Big G. All right, Aaron, what's up?
Doing pretty good. Been a fairly busy day here. Overall, the news has died down a little bit since last week, but we still have no shortage of big stories to discuss. I would like to thank everybody out there, whether you're watching this on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook. Thank you guys for tuning in. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRiftNoDQ. And we have Eric Montgomery here saying, longtime NoDQ fan here. Would love to rock the NoDQ merch. NoDQ.com/merch takes you to the merch store, but we'll do our plugs at the end. Don't want to bore everybody with the plugs right now. People want to know what we have to say about all the various topics of the week. So let's go ahead and get started, Virtue.
All right, well, let's get this one out of the way. Even though it's only April 22nd here, we are in the middle, still, hopefully towards the end of this pandemic as the vaccines start rolling out. WrestleMania, it was 2 nights, had fans in attendance, and I don't think we're going to go outside the Thunderdome too much this summer, but Summerslam very well could be in another venue such as WrestleMania. Maybe it'll be in an indoor-outdoor where the roof closes. I heard some rumors, Aaron, what about possible some Arizona places? Yeah. This needs to happen with people. Like, we need something to look forward to. It just adds that extra magic to the show. And you could call night 2 a dud at WrestleMania, but night 1 was pretty electric, the first show back, and the crowd does add to watching a wrestling show, as long as the fans don't try to hijack it. But I'm interested, where does everybody think SummerSlam should take place? Now, it'll probably be in a bigger capacity stadium where they can spread people out. So I highly doubt it'll be in an arena, like a basketball arena, because then there would be less, right? You'd probably only maybe be able to get like 10,000 in there to spread them out in a 20,000 seat arena versus a stadium. They can do like what they did with WrestleMania. I would be fine with any of those places with a retractable roof, some of the rumored places in Arizona. Noah Foster, what do you think? We were at SummerSlam the last time it had live crowd, correct, in Toronto?
Yep.
So this could be the first SummerSlam back with a live crowd. What are you thinking here?
Well, I definitely feel like they need to continue with the approach that you have a hybrid type setting where it's more outdoor than indoor, because outdoor is the safer way to go. I would not mind seeing SummerSlam necessarily maybe in a baseball stadium or like a smaller venue versus a football stadium. But I definitely agree that that should be the next time WWE brings back the fans, because they do add that extra presentation to the show. And I hope they do go outside the conventional, whether it's Florida, California, New York. Arizona would be an interesting place. You might even do something with the Bellas and Bailey from that, since Bailey didn't have a high spot at WrestleMania. But again, I would not mind seeing it like at maybe like maybe the stadium they had WrestleMania 26 in.
All right. Now, I remember when SummerSlam was like in LA for so many years in a row. Did they do the same thing in Brooklyn and New York and have it there so many years in a row?
Correct.
Like, all right. So I don't know if I'm a big fan of that. Like, you can have an event come back to your city, but I think it should, we should spread the wealth. So Big G,
Yes.
what do you think here? It's not going to be in Canada, right? Until this pandemic is completely over and all the travel restrictions are gone.
Correct.
But what are you thinking?
Well, I mean, by that time, football will be over again. So, I mean, they could do it in a smaller football stadium, maybe.
Wait, football will be over again. We're talking about SummerSlam.
Oh, SummerSlam. Never mind.
Whoa.
I'm looking.
Were you
I'm looking
about
ahead to next
WrestleMania?
year. I'm looking ahead to next year.
Okay, no, we're talking SummerSlam. In
SummerSlam.
August. Football won't even have started yet.
Yeah. I mean, so they could do it in another football stadium, where the Cardinals play at, or the Superdome. Something that, like you mentioned, has a retractable roof, just in case, God forbid it does happen to rain again, and they don't have to.
Pretty good outside, so
Yeah, but I mean, definitely bring the fans back. You said it, Noah said it. It makes wrestling special with the fans. It makes it more alive, and have it wherever you have it, and see where it goes.
See, Curtis Butler said California, Florida, or Texas. I would imagine it's the states with the least restrictions.
Yeah.
So, Aaron Rift, any hot news? I know they don't have a place yet, and during a pandemic like this, you got to kind of have to wait. Like, we knew where WrestleMania was going to be, but didn't it take them a long time to even release tickets? What do you think for SummerSlam?
I'm hoping that they just stick with Boston, which was their plan last year. That would be ideal if they could do Boston with a full crowd. I'm not sure if that's a realistic possibility at this time. It's really a matter of just waiting and seeing how things play out with the pandemic. But if the numbers drop enough, maybe WWE will be able to safely run in an arena. If they want to play it safe, they could just go to a stadium. But apparently they're planning on, once they're back with live fans again, it's 100% full speed ahead. They're going to be touring again. No going back to the Thunderdome. And their lease is through the beginning of August. And I guess they're just going to have to take it day by day and see how things are with the pandemic, and if it's safe enough to do a show with a full crowd in the summer. And right now it's a really tough call. Like, I think we need to wait at least another month or two and see if the cases continue to drop with more people being vaccinated. And either way, I'm hopeful we do get a live crowd for SummerSlam. And I hope sooner than later we're able to go back to a normal schedule with touring. Mike D sent in a $5 super chat, says, I think SummerSlam will be the first event back with a full crowd, and WWE will have crowds again going forward after that. I know that's certainly what WWE wants to happen, but will it happen? Who knows at this point?
Yeah. Big G, do you know if they're having people in the basketball stadiums for the basketball games yet, and the arenas?
I'm not 100% sure on that. I know hockey is.
I would imagine maybe basketball is too, but again, it's not going to be as much. And if it's indoor, obviously it's not as safe. So we'll see where they schedule SummerSlam. I remember this seems like last year we were kind of waiting if they were going to do anything, and obviously they didn't anything special. But that's when they started the Thunderdome up. So kind of a big – it's almost the 1 year anniversary coming up here later this summer of the Thunderdome. Who would have thought that?
Yeah.
How about this topic? I know we have an NXT guy, a couple NXT guys here, Big G and Noah Foster. Last time Keith Lee really was relevant was in NXT. Now, there's various reasons why he could be gone. And, for whatever the rumor mill says, whether he has health issues from maybe having COVID and after effects, if he had an injury, or if he's just kind of training and getting rebuilt to Vince McMahon's vision. But how should WWE introduce Keith Lee back when it's time? I feel they might be setting something up. I want to see if anybody kind of sees the same thing. Big G, I'll bop right over to you.
Man, Keith Lee. Yeah, with whatever is going on with him, I mean, when he first came up and had his match with Randy Orton, I thought, okay, he's being put with Randy Orton. He's going to get the rocket strapped to him, and they're just going to
beat him.
And he beat him, and after that, it was just pretty much downhill from there. Keith Lee was the best in NXT, and the best Keith Lee I saw was at Survivor Series when he was one-on-one with Roman Reigns in that traditional Survivor Series match, and that was the best Keith Lee that I had seen. And then you fast forward, like you said, he beat Randy Orton at the pay-per-view, and then after that, it was downhill. They changed his music, they changed his ring gear up, and it completely, crapped on his character. I feel when he comes back, I would say go after Bobby Lashley. Go after the biggest shark on Monday Night Raw, which is Bobby Lashley, and attack him and go after the WWE title. If not that, go after Sheamus with the US title. So I just hope Keith Lee comes back, maybe when they have crowds, maybe SummerSlam if they're going to wait that long. And other than that, I don't know. But yeah, hopefully
here's why I asked this, later. Big G brought up a point. I don't know if they're going to continue this thing with Sheamus doing open challenges, how Cena did. And obviously, who is it? Humberto Carrillo. I don't even know what these guys' names are. That didn't even turn out to be a match.
Yeah.
But could you see, Noah, them doing this with Sheamus and building it, and it's just one person after the other, and it's nobody of interest until it's Keith Lee? Because I guess he was supposedly going to win it originally. But what do you think, Noah Foster?
I think they are going to reinsert him back into the United States Championship picture because, going off your point, he was originally the guy scheduled to win at Elimination Chamber, but due to whether it's health or something else, that wasn't the case. I could definitely see Keith Lee being a trailblazer, maybe leading his own open challenge as United States Champion. But this is Vince. This isn't me. I could see Vince trying to maybe redefine his tag team division. There was one time where Keith Lee did tag with somebody that I know Psycho Jet Black loves to talk about, and that is the one and only Ricochet. With the fact there is no tag team division on Monday Night Raw, I could see Vince trying to pull some fast one like that and setting that up against Omos and AJ Styles, who's still currently aren't gone. Why I do like the idea of Keith Lee going after the WWE Championship again, I think he and Bobby Lashley could steal the show. He already had a chance against Drew McIntyre in the main event of Raw and fell short. So I feel like they're going to put him back in the United States Championship picture.
Yeah, and of course I could just see it. Like I mentioned, it's an open challenge, and it's not anywhere close to how it was for John Cena, where it got kind of exciting.
Right.
It's almost like a letdown, and Sheamus maybe even just beats a lot of these people up before the matches happen, and then finally when it's time to do the payoff, boom, Keith Lee comes out, and then people are like, "Holy crap!" Aaron Rift, what do you think here?
Well, there's an interesting point here from NoDQ for Life. He brought up the possibility of Keith Lee possibly going to SmackDown. Now, Mia Yim, who is with Keith Lee in real life, she is reportedly going to the SmackDown brand, and that makes me think maybe Keith Lee will also be going to the SmackDown brand, although right now it doesn't matter as much because WWE is not touring, but once they start touring again, it would make sense for Keith Lee to be on the same brand as Mia Yim. You could definitely do that at some point, Keith Lee versus Roman Reigns. If he does stay on Raw, I would like to see him involved with Lashley somehow, whether it's being aligned with Lashley, Keith Lee joins the Hurt Business, and they could even do like a Triple H Batista recreation where Keith Lee is the muscle of the Hurt Business, but eventually Keith Lee turns against Lashley and they feud for the title, and you could make Keith Lee a main event star out of that. Or just have him go straight after Lashley and feud with him for a little bit as a babyface. Either way, I'm hopeful that once Keith Lee makes his return, they do something significant with him. Yeah, he could go in and have a match with Riddle, or he could go to SmackDown and have a match with Apollo. But I say you got to go big with Keith Lee. He was in there with Roman Reigns at that Survivor Series at the very end, and I think you got to put him in that main event spot and see where he can go. Now, Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. You know he had to do it. He says, "Proud to be the #1 Ricochater. I just created a new term.
Yeah,
Ricochet hater, the Ricochater on No DQ. Psycho Jet Black, from now on, you are the Ricochater. That's your new nickname.
So, what does everyone think about this? This reminds me. So, we all know that Randy Orton beat The Fiend at WrestleMania, and it was just so they could do this storyline with Alexa Bliss, more or less. So the Fiend took one for the team there. Randy Orton, always he's had a great past year. I've documented it in a column, but I put Matt Riddle over on Raw. I was even shocked. Anybody have some thoughts on that? I'm telling you, man, Matt Riddle might not be a main eventer, but Vince McMahon has to love the dude because he gets these wins. He won the U.S. title, held it for a month or so, beats Orton. Any thoughts? I was a little shocked.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Well, maybe it was a one-time thing. Like you said, Vince likes some of the NXT guys, and he's really high on Riddle right now. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'm sure they'll have another rematch next week on Raw. So we'll see what.
Well, if they do 50-50 booking, then it defeats the purpose. So
We'll see
what happens.
I could see it being a match made for WrestleMania Backlash. This gives Randy Orton a program. This gives Riddle something to do since he's out of the United States Championship picture. And they also could continue this because this really goes all the way back to Survivor Series 2019 where Riddle eliminated Randy Orton. So honestly, this is probably a feud in long-term making.
Well, and Orton has put over Keith Lee and Riddle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's Randy Orton.
There you go.
Aaron, were you going to add something or?
Yeah, we do have a super chat here from TGS, which has some breaking news. I'm not sure if you guys want to talk about this at all.
Let's do it. That's what we're here for.
TJS says, check out Triple H's tweet about Mickie James. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen it yet. The photo that Mickie James posted, a care package, which was a trash bag. And apparently this was not something that was supposed to be done because John Laurinaitis and Triple H tweeted out that upon learning of the disrespectful treatment some of our recently released talent have received on behalf of the company, we took immediate action. The person responsible for this inconsiderate action has been fired and is no longer with WWE. That is from Triple H's Twitter account.
Someone gave Mickie James a trash bag. We don't know who this person is.
Somebody that worked with WWE
or did.
Clearly.
Or did.
Wow. I've said it for years because I've heard it from people that have worked there. There is a lot of pettiness that goes on within that company. I mean, you can probably say that about a lot of companies, but WWE definitely has very weird corporate environment, at least corporate, and maybe not in the offices in Stamford, but in the backstage area at the arenas that they are in. I mean, the plane ride from hell, right? Back in the day. Come on. Weird. So, wow, there you go, Aaron. Some breaking news right here live on the NoDQ review.
Yeah. And in case you guys did not see the photo, it's up on NoDQ.com if you want to go check that out.
Wow, that interesting. Gosh. Anyways, and they could all be trolling us, but probably not. How about this? Speaking of Triple H, you always hear every once in a while, should he have one more run? And what do you think? Should Triple H have one more run? Now, when I say one more run, I don't want to see like what he did when he won the WWE title in the Royal Rumble and then faced Roman Reigns. I think it was WrestleMania 32.
Correct.
And put Reigns over. What was it, 32? Yeah.
Yes.
And, people kind of knew he was just there to put Roman over, and, it didn't go very well, and the fans didn't receive it very well. When I think of Triple H coming back, I think of him doing one program for a WrestleMania match like The Undertaker used to do. So that I could see. No more what we saw in Saudi Arabia with like him and Shawn Michaels. He's probably at the point of his career where he should be done and focus on NXT and trying to bridge the gap from NXT to the main roster with working with Vince McMahon, although I know that can't be easy. But if he does have one more run, anybody think he should face? CM Punk, bring him back. But anyway, Noah Foster, what do you think here? Could he put some NXT talent over if he does have one more run?
I feel like that's the only thing he could do if he has one more run, and the only thing he probably wants to do if that's the case. I mean, he hasn't been involved in a match since WrestleMania 35, and that was to write off Batista, to give Batista, and I quote, what he wants. It still irks me that back at Survivor Series 2017, it was teased with their face-to-face, never got Triple H versus Bobby Roode. I could have really saw an interesting program come out of Triple H and Bobby Roode. But if you're going to do some of it Triple H, save it for like a WrestleMania time. And honestly, if you want to try a Survivor Series spot, maybe use this so-called pettiness and unsettling environment backstage, and maybe the arguments as far as creative direction goes with Triple H and Vince, maybe set up some minor thing between them. But as far as maybe a title or main event spot, he doesn't need that. He needs to put forward the talent that he's grooming in NXT, if nothing else.
Yeah, no, I'd be totally for him coming back to have these feuds with NXT people, just because at this stage of the game, that's his baby. Why not? Right? I don't know who, but could you imagine a Karrion Kross versus Triple H match? And I just threw that one off the top of my head. Big G, what do you think?
I mean, at this point in his career, he doesn't need to prove anything else. He needs to focus on NXT, like Noah just mentioned.
But this could be a rub for NXT. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, so if he does come back, I would focus on NXT. I mean, you have so much potential down there that they could get the rub. I mean, off the top of my head, him versus Ciampa, him versus Adam Cole. You mentioned Karrion Kross, Virtue. There's him versus Kyle O'Reilly. And if on the main roster, one person that comes to mind, Triple H versus AJ Styles. That would be, and I would say that for Mania too. Something big, but then after that, have his one or two matches and then be completely retired and just focus solely on NXT and his backstage stuff. Like I said, the man doesn't really need to prove anything, and he's done everything that he can in the ring. And I mean, he still works out and stuff like that, just in case, but we'll see. If he does, I'll be happy. If not, I'm not gonna. It's not the end of the world.
I mean, we'll see. When you have WrestleManias back next year, hopefully in front of 80,000+ again. They like to, they kind of took it easy the last 2 years for obviously, the pandemic reasons. But that would be interesting. Could Triple H still be one of those guys to be a big staple at WrestleMania in front of 80,000+ people? Aaron Rift, what do you think?
All right, so just off topic here for a second. Psycho Jet Black left 2 super chats. One with a comment that was,
come on, man, not you, Aaron, but these people.
Yeah, not a nice comment here. So this was his first comment. I'm not going to read it out of protest here because I think it was kind of a.
The only thing that belongs in a trash bag is EC3. No, I mean, come on, EC3 has an illness or something right now. So that comment belongs in a trash bag.
Agree.
Yeah.
Psycho Jet Black followed up by saying, seriously, though, I make fun of EC3, the character. I would never make fun of EC3, the man. I hope he recovers. I didn't know about the hospitalization. So,
right. Okay, Jim Cornette.
We'll give you a pass on that, that you didn't know about the whole hospitalization thing. But our best wishes to EC3. Hopefully he recovers soon. And usually if we're making fun of somebody, we're making fun of the character, not the person.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I understand that part of it, but sometimes people might be confused and wonder, well, what's up with that comment? But anyways, regarding Triple H, I have no desire to see him wrestle again. After that Saudi Arabia match with DX versus Undertaker and Kane, I'm done. And we saw the Batista match. I have no need to see Triple H in a ring again unless it's absolutely the right opponent. But I'm with Big G. I think he should do something in NXT. If he does wrestle again, he should do something different. And I'd like to see him in the ring against somebody he has not faced before. And maybe some kind of storyline like a power struggle in NXT. And Triple H finally has to lace up the boots to try and handle somebody who's out of control in the NXT brand. I'd love to see it against a match against Ciampa, or Gargano would be a really good one, or maybe even Karrion Kross. Maybe Karrion Kross just goes so out of control as champion, and he's on this complete power trip that Triple H, the old half of the tag team, the 2-man power trip with Steve Austin, has to step in and take care of business and try to take back his company. So I would say do something in NXT, maybe one more WrestleMania match with the right opponent. Is it AJ Styles? Who knows? Maybe Drew McIntyre, but I say one more WrestleMania match, but it's got to be the right opponent. And sure, one NXT match with the right opponent, and that's it.
Triple H on an NXT takeover.
I'd be interested. Detective Mocha with the $2 super chat says, imagine Daniel Bryan in AEW. He wants to face a few people.
Off topic.
That's another big news story right now. Daniel Bryan said his contract is up soon, and he's teasing the idea that maybe he's going to go elsewhere and wrestle other people, maybe in AEW or Ring of Honor. He did bring up some NXT people as well. Now, is he serious about that, or is he just trying to get that new contract for the big bucks? I mean,
he's working the system. That's why I didn't really deem that news. I'm calling this whole edition of the review the who, what, when, why, and where edition because of these topics. So moving right along here. Now let's talk about CM Punk again, because would you want to see him have a match with Will Osprey if he ever did return? And I always said it would be with the way he left WWE, and maybe he just doesn't want to get back into it full time. I thought it was interesting for something over in New Japan or wherever you would think he could wrestle Will Osprey. That would be very interesting to me. And he could do just like a one-off if he didn't want to commit and probably get paid very well for it and then bop back to doing his little TV shows and his comics. So this, to me, out of all the rumors we've had over the last 6 years, really intrigues me because I feel it could be very possible that he does a one-off with somebody who can work, a modern style of match that he knows fans today like Will Osprey. So what's everyone's take here? We always got to talk about Punk. I know there's going to be people, he's never coming back, give it up on him. But yet there are a lot of people that always care about whatever CM Punk does. So Noah Foster, what do you think here with this rumor?
I actually would love to see it. Will Osprey claims he's a wrestler on a whole nother level. Truly now believes he is the best in the world. And he's been calling out CM Punk, who claims he is the best in the world. This truly could be Wrestle Kingdom setup, like when Jericho and Omega was set up, for example. I think this could be a tremendous one-off. And again, it's one of those opportunities. CM Punk's never done this. He might just want to try it, just like the UFC thing. And the fact that he is a wrestler still at heart, I feel that he and Osprey can definitely pull off something incredible. I would love to see it, even if it's just literally, truly his last match ever.
Now, no, you know what I find interesting? In the last several months, whenever he's filming the show for Stars, getting a little taste of that wrestling, even though it's not the same when you're filming a TV show, and we get rumors like this that come up, and it's just natural. And who knows, that hunger, that passion to maybe just think about doing it one more time, not even a whole year run, but just one match. I mean, The Undertaker got paid big bucks to come back once a year at WrestleMania. You don't think that would entertain Punk to find someone that would not that they would give him that much money, but hey, Punk, do you want to have a potential 5-star match? And I got to say that when we're talking about New Japan.
Yes.
To wow. Yeah, I mean, and of course the internet would break, and he knows that. So.
Well, like CM Punk says, when they ask the question, he changes the culture. You get a subtle tease, cult of personality subtly plays. We're wondering what's happening, and all of a sudden, boom, CM Punk appears in the Titantron. 5 months in advance, you book the match.
Here's SSBS fanboy. Punk is never coming back, never will. Shit. Let's see, Daniel Bryan was never coming back. Edge was never coming back. Ultimate Warrior and Vince McMahon were never going to rekindle their relationship. He got in the Hall of Fame. Never say never. I mean, unless you're Chris Benoit, never, don't ever say you won't ever see somebody again, okay? And I'm only saying that because how tragic that was with Benoit, okay? And so unless you're that, never say never in wrestling. They all come back for that one last little itch. And again, all Punk has to do is come back for one match, folks. And anybody who said he was coming back is right. Doesn't have to be a full career, second half of a career run. Big G, your turn.
Well, Noah's probably going to be outraged by this, but I have never watched New Japan Pro Wrestling in my life.
But you've seen clips of the Jericho stuff and all that, right?
Clips.
I'm kind of shocked about that. You didn't go over like at least to watch Jericho.
I
would figure at least looked at that because it's a
No,
name you recognize. Or John
I've
Moxley.
even done that.
Yeah, I've never gotten to New Japan Pro Wrestling. I just
would you if CM Punk went to Wrestle Kingdom to face like Will Osprey? Would you?
Probably yes, just because it's CM Punk.
Oh,
and I mean,
I've
heard good things about Will Osprey too. You know, I've seen some things on YouTube.
How about versus Kenta?
That'd be interesting.
They both do the finish. Yeah,
that'd be interesting too.
GTS, there you go.
Yeah, I mean I think that would attract me to New Japan Pro Wrestling. I mean, like you said, the Jericho and Omega stuff, I did watch a little bit on YouTube, like the highlights or whatever, but I've never watched an actual match in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
But it's not up to us fans, you know, complaining and saying, "Oh, Punk needs to come back. He shouldn't come back." It's up to CM Punk if he wants to come back. He has to have that willpower, that spark that he wants to come back to wrestle. I mean, yeah, he's doing heels on Stars, and maybe that is helping him get back into ring shape to potentially do, you know, a match with Will Osprey. And if he does, okay, cool. I'll pop for it. If he doesn't come back, you know, the man hasn't wrestled since 2014. You know, people just need to get over the fact that he may come back, he may not come back. If he comes back, awesome. If he doesn't, you know, the man hasn't wrestled since 2014. So get over it, people, really.
Big G, let their desire just, you know, wonder about. That's all it is. It's a desire, okay? And more so, it might be a desire for the fans versus the actual wrestler, person, CM Punk, Phil Brooks, whatever you want to call him, himself. But as Virtue says, and like in wrestling goes, a wrestler sometimes just wants to chase the dragon until they truly feel like they've done it all. They don't need this anymore. The fire has gone out. Is that true about CM Punk?
And Big G, go back and watch the Summer of Punk in 2011. Like everything leading up to the match was seen at Money in the Bank, and you just listen to the crowd. You tell me that there won't be a point in his life he wants that one last time. If not, more power to him. But if the wrestling I feel 9 times out of 10, they all come back for something.
Oh, I know, but I feel like if he would have wanted to do it, he would have done it already.
Not necessarily. Not especially when WCW had a bunch of mid and late 40s and early 50s guys. Yeah. He might just say, God, I got plenty of time here to get this thing right. And I'm just going to wait it out. Which, by the way, there's an article from a few weeks back or 6 weeks ago. CM Punk is patiently waiting. I kind of dissect this whole process of what I think might be going through his mind and his wife's mind.
Yeah.
Time and place for everything.
Yeah. What do you think, Aaron?
All right, so we do have a few super chats, and then I'll give my opinion on this. We're so far back. Virtue, you got to bump me up when we get these super chats, because then I get way back.
I like you scrambling through them. So
you can always take screenshots, Aaron.
We'll make sure you get them all here. Go. I'll start naming them. I'll make sure you get them all.
All right, first one is from Dwayne Atkinson. He sent in $5. Thank you, Dwayne. He says, wasn't Osprey supposed to originally win the Cruiserweight Classic but would not sign with WWE? I seem to remember somebody. I'm not sure if it was Osprey or not.
I thought it was Sabre Jr.
No, it was Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, that's it. Noah was right on that one. See, I think that Osprey probably realized that WWE would not utilize him to the fullest extent. You know, he saw the writing on the wall, which said 205 Live, and he's like, you know what? I think I'm better off in Japan. I'd love to see that match. I'd love to see CM Punk come back anywhere. I think CM Punk coming back to wrestling is great business. I think it would be very interesting to see him come back. Now, I think I would prefer to see him return in the United States. I think that's where he could make the biggest impact. But wherever he goes, as long as he's happy and passionate, I think it'll be quality entertainment. If he's feeling it, it will be good. That's the key. He has to feel it inside, and it has to be something that he really wants to do. Now, Detective Mocha sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan at AEW is his best friend. Well, we'll have to see what happens with Daniel Bryan if he actually goes anywhere. That remains to be seen. Big G?
You did miss some super chats from the beginning. I can read them if you want me to.
Oh, yeah, I know I missed them. I got to get to them. That's why
I'm going through as Aaron's doing it and make sure he gets them. So let him keep going.
Okay, so Mike D sent in a $5 super chat. Says, CM Punk said he'll come back for lots of money and great storyline, and Roman Reigns is that one great storyline. I would love to see that match, CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, at WrestleMania. That would be, to me, a marquee match for WrestleMania. I would definitely be intrigued by that, and I hope we get it, but that's going to come down to what CM Punk wants to do, and will WWE feel like it's even worth it to bring him back? Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, CM Punk versus Triple H, Pepsi on a pole match at WrestleMania 50. Well,
come on.
I'm not sure we're ever going to see CM Punk versus Triple H. CM Punk made it clear he has no interest. Although that would be interesting, a Pepsi on a pole match. That would be something different. Mike D with a $2 super chat says, if Punk comes back, it's going to be against Roman Reigns. Yeah, possibly, but I think that if he comes back, it's got to be the right timing, and I'm hopeful when we have WWE touring again, maybe that will be the right timing. Maybe CM Punk goes to AEW and fights Kenny Omega at All Out in Chicago. Again, timing. Will AEW be able to run 100% capacity in Chicago for Labor Day weekend? By the way, I don't think I'll be able to go to that because a certain somebody has a wedding the same weekend as AEW All Out. And Josh Mansfield sent in a $5 super chat, and somebody let me know if I'm missing any super chats. I think
I'm so far so good. Keep going.
Okay. Josh Mansfield with $5 says, Mr. Tito on Twitter defending Mickie's stuff being in a trash bag and saying she shouldn't complain is itself trash. Really appalled by that. Virtue, you're up and down with Tito. You guys are friends sometimes, you're enemies sometimes. Did he cross the line? Putting you on the spot here.
Well, I mean, you can say whatever you want on Twitter. Obviously, I do that. But when it comes to how WWE handles things, then there are certain things you just don't do, and there should be professionalism. Now, if there's something we don't know about Mickie James disrespecting someone else that did that to her, that's all okay. What I mean, you know, how people react. But if this is just because somebody didn't like Mickie James and why they would do that, we just don't know the full story. You know, obviously it's just based on what we've kind of heard and pictures we've seen, but we don't know everything that's went down. So yeah, I mean, I can't really say anything other than that.
All right, then. Fair enough.
Freedom of speech. So I'm not going to deny that. But
all right, now we do have another super chat here from Dwayne Atkinson. He said,
yeah, you got that one. Okay.
If Pink, I guess he means Punk, if Punk comes back, should he win the Royal Rumble first, then main event Mania? Imagine the pop if they did something in a stadium, no announcement, and you heard Cult of Personality in that ballpark, or, you know, if they do the 40, 50,000 people. I mean, if there was a retractable roof, it would blow off if CM Punk showed up.
Right?
As a surprise. No advance clue that he's going to show up. I'm telling you, people would lose their shit.
Number 30.
I would love that. I would be so for that.
But you know WWE's style, man. They'll announce it on Twitter and then they'll plug it on Raw and SmackDown and do everything else to ruin the surprise.
It'll be on WWE.com, you know, the Friday before. It'll be like breaking news. CM Punk has agreed to terms to return to WWE. They do this stupid shit. Remember when they gave away Bryan's return on WWE.com? I mean, come on now, guys. Like, let us have some surprises. I miss surprises.
Yeah.
Don't tell us on WWE.com. Don't give us any clues.
Or when, I mean, it's not a real big deal, but like when they announced Morrison on the bump, you know, everybody was excited. Yeah. Like Rowan says, stupid.
If I was wearing glasses right now, glasses off. for every time they do that.
Aaron, did you get that other Detective Mocha one about CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan at AEW, his best friend?
I thought I did.
Yeah,
I did mention it, but I said we'll have to wait and see if Bryan actually leaves. That's something that might not happen. I mean, people are thinking it's going to happen, but who knows?
Did you catch up on the super chats? I think you did.
I think so. Somebody in the chat, let me know, and we'll have to go back.
You're caught up, Aaron.
All right, it's main event time. I'm going to break this into 3 parts because it's the 3 ladies that headlined WrestleMania 35, and there's something to say about all of them right now. So we're going to start off with Ronda Rousey. I was so bummed. I almost want to cry. But tears of joy. Good for her. She's 4 months pregnant, she announced. I wish – you don't know how these things work out. I wish it would have happened right after she left, because then she'd have her kid already, and we'd be talking like we're going to be talking about Becky here in a minute. When could she possibly come back? Right now, Ronda may never return, right? Because she wants to be a mom, and sometimes you want to have kid after kid.
Yeah.
Let's face it, if she ever came back, all she would have to do is one more Mania match, and I would be satisfied, right? So it's very possible. But congratulations. But I'm bummed as a wrestling fan because I know it puts that indefinite timestamp on if she'll ever return. We were already at that indefinite spot anyway. What's everybody's thoughts here? I know some people don't want her. That's why I like her. Not necessarily there to dominate the division, but she helped get that division to places it never was. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair should be thanking Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda for why we're going, and then we're going to be talking about all 3 of them. So Noah Foster, Ronda Rousey, congratulations to her. But
that was the one thing
happy
she wanted.
And I'm bummed.
I understand that, and I kind of get that too, because I still, to this day, hope to one day see Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey 1-on-1. But I digress. Yeah. Congratulations to her on achieving the ultimate goal, that she wanted to start a family and have a baby. Well, she's finally got one. And I know that she said that she was having like back issues throughout her time during WWE, literally wrestling injured, only went for 1 year of her whole 3-year stint. But I could definitely see Ronda Rousey being a main WrestleMania draw just one time only. And honestly, I hope one day that happens. But honestly, I don't got much more to say besides that. Congrats to her, and I wish all the best to her. And hopefully, and I imagine so, a newly healthy born child. But one day, one more match. That's all I want.
Well
and
said,
if possible,
make
it versus Becky.
I agree. Big G. We've talked about Ronda returning, and I get that excitement talking about like the Brock Lesnar's coming back, the Ronda Rouseys, and this just really was a slap of reality that she's not in wrestling.
Yeah. Well, I've been a fan of Ronda since her UFC days, and obviously when she came. I had the opportunity to see her live when she debuted at the Royal Rumble back in 2018 in Philadelphia, and
34, and that was an awesome match for me.
But anyways, we had gone to NXT and the Raw after the Rumble, but I was still kind of mad that I didn't actually see her debut at the Royal Rumble. Congrats to her and Travis Brown. Like we've all said, she said that she's waited for this like the longest time. Not much else to say. I just hope, once she has the baby, I think her baby's due in September, actually, she said. Mm-hmm. So what a coincidence, right? Oh, maybe we'll see her back at WrestleMania next year.
I'm not thinking anything like that at all right now. Cause
I mean, if she doesn't come back, I'll be happy. If she does, like I said, with Punk, I'll be cool about it. So
the desire is there, but we're happy where she is.
Yep.
Aaron?
Well, first of all, congratulations to Ronda Rousey on her pregnancy. I know this is something she's been talking about for several years. As far as when she comes back, she could theoretically be back for next year's WrestleMania in Texas. That would be fitting for her. Could see her coming back in California. But I do think we will see Ronda Rousey again at some point, at least for one more big match, one more big program. I do not think we have seen the last of her in a WWE ring. And there's certainly the possibility for her to come back next year. The question is, will she wait it out a bit longer? With fans coming back, WWE touring, and they're going to want to bring in the big names to fill out a 100 1,000-seat building. I think they're going to be making a phone call to her. So, yeah, again, congratulations to Ronda Rousey.
And Tito congratulated her, too, and said she was in the best mixed tag match in WrestleMania history. And I agree with that. And being there live, like with all the matches that were on that card, that was not the one I thought was going to be most over with those fans in New Orleans, and it was.
And we do have a few super chats here. Psycho Jet Black said, "Imagine at Royal Rumble, Pink the singer comes out and wins the Rumble."
Oh my God. Okay, whatever.
Interesting.
What a random.
I see.
God.
I think because that one guy wrote Pink instead of Punk, so Psycho Jet Black made the joke. Stick to your Ricochet disses, Psycho Jet Black.
I see another super chat in there. Is there one?
You ricocheter. All right. Psycho Jet Black also sent in a $2 super chat. The dude has jokes tonight.
Yeah.
He says, Ronda versus Becky Lynch in an exploding barbed wire death match.
That'd be a first for the women.
That'd be what? Not everybody talk at once here. Big G, would you like to see that?
I said that'd be, if they did, that'd be first for the women in exploding, unless they've had one in Japan, right? No one? Have they had?
Not to my knowledge.
You know what?
Too.
Highly unlikely in all likelihood, just because I do not think we would see that in a WWE ring, unfortunately.
No.
But yeah, props to Ronda. I mean, when she came in, they had their own all-female pay-per-view, and the women headlined WrestleMania. And when I say headlined, went on last. Both of those had Ronda's name attached to them. So that's all I'm going to say there. Charlotte, now, storyline suspension, right? She snapped after she lost to Asuka. Rhea Ripley was out there, kind of distracted her. Charlotte snapped, beat up the ref, whatever. She's obviously suspended in storyline, getting dental work done, whatever the rumor is. She's probably not going to be out that long, but I don't really want to talk about what some guy, just the controversy about what someone else said about her. So what's everybody's thoughts in general about Charlotte being suspended? Yes, she is back. She was not at WrestleMania. We all know the rumors behind all that. But she's back, and she is right there in the mix with Asuka and Rhea Ripley, which I know some people get pissed about. Noah Foster, what do you think with Charlotte?
I mean, we knew she was going to be back for her crown. It's as simple as that. As far as the suspension, you lay your hands on an official. That is a no-no, okay? Period. I don't care how high you are on the totem pole. You could be Brock Lesnar, and you're still going to be fined and or suspended. Case in point here, as far as this goes. This, to me, just further suspends the idea that clearly Charlotte Flair is going to be back after one thing, and that's the Raw Women's Championship. And I still see, in my opinion, a triple threat match at WrestleMania Backlash against Asuka and Rhea Ripley for the title, because Charlotte owes victories over both.
Well said. Well said. Aaron, I'm going to go over to you this time. I'll make Big G wait a little bit here.
Okay, so you want my thoughts on Charlotte being suspended?
Yeah, just Charlotte being suspended. And, I mean, if you have anything else to say, say it. But
I'm not going to say anything.
Twitter takes care of that.
Why she's gone. Whatever she's doing, it's her life, her business. She comes back when she's ready to come back. I like Charlotte. I think she's a very entertaining performer. I think she's earned her spot, and I think she's an asset to the company. I hope she comes back and they have a good storyline for her. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it,
And you're allowed to report why she left. You just don't have to say other things beyond that. So journalism, you're allowed to say the facts. I mean, even though we really don't know the facts, but you can say she's doing something medically or whatever. But
now, real quick before we go over to Big G, Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $3 super chat. Says, "Fine, Pink versus Punk, book it. LOL. Intergender
$3 to tell us that. Thank you." Big G.
I like Pink though.
Yeah, she's a good singer.
Yeah.
Not your
you know it? No, did you know it?
Noah's more of a Simon and Garfunkel type of dude.
I listen to a little bit of everything, but if you want to talk about Pink and Bomb in a wrestling match, Pink versus Poppy.
There you go. Okay.
Big G, your thoughts on Charlotte before we get to the third part of our main event?
Not much to say. I mean, we've all read on NoDQ.com, whatever procedure she's having done now, she's got to get it done. And she'll be back probably next week or the week after. Like Noah said, booked in a triple threat match at WrestleMania Backlash, I wonder what they were smoking when they thought that name. But anyways,
that's right. It's probably Peacock's trying to overexpose the name WrestleMania to the
probably.
casuals. Yep.
But
No
yeah,
doubt.
it's I'm sure we'll see Sasha. We'll see Charlotte back within the next 2 weeks, I would assume. So
yeah, it's just like she's back, then she's gone, back on.
Yeah,
So
she's hot.
we will
cold.
see. Oh, okay,
she's
Becky.
hot, she's cool. I don't care.
So Becky Lynch.
That's Katy Perry.
Yeah, no.
Becky did the tease heading into WrestleMania. Obviously, trolled the fans. It really made, was a letdown for her fans. It maybe expected at least an appearance and like for her to wave, hey, I'm doing fine. Even carrying her kid, the baby out on the stage. I don't know, but we have to talk. Seth Rollins is back and doing his thing on SmackDown. Is SummerSlam a possibility? When Royal Rumble, without an announcement, because we need surprises. Becky Lynch, when and if will she return? Big G, I'm going to come right back over to you.
So, like you said, everybody thought that she'd be back at WrestleMania, especially with that spot with Bayley.
Not everybody. I figured
not everybody, but there was like you said, her fans and certain people probably thought, okay, she teased on Twitter saying, spelt out night one pretty much, and night one she didn't show up. So night two they thought, okay, maybe she'll show up. She didn't. Then Raw after Mania they thought she'd show up, because Raw after Mania used to be this big thing, and now Raw is what it is.
Hey,
anyways,
could SummerSlam be 2 nights?
Could be. It very well could be. If Vince is still, concerned with everything going on, he could, he very could well. It is the biggest party of the summer, as it once was called. I could see her coming back at SummerSlam. I'm thinking it would be the Raw after Money in the Bank, because then it would be almost a year or it would be the same, Raw that she dropped the title to Asuka after Money in the Bank. So I would see that fitting, or
whatever. When she gave it to her?
Yeah, when she gave it to her. Yeah. So I mean, when she comes back, I'm sure everybody will be happy. I'll be happy because I was a Becky Lynch fan. There, I said it. So we'll see if she comes. I would say she comes back sooner than later. I'll leave it at that.
All right, over to you.
Somebody said something about Betty White.
Well, you'll have to Google that or look it up, make sure that's legit, because people leave comments in here. I'm never sure
I know.
if they're legitimate or not. Okay. Anyways, so Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat earlier, he said Simon and Garfunkel should be the NXT Tag Team Champions. Well, I mean, I think they're old enough to maybe be the AEW Tag Team Champions, but
Right.
not sure about NXT Tag Team Champions. And then Psycho Jet Black with $2 said, seriously, should Aleister Black go back to NXT? If they're not going to push him on SmackDown, they should send him back to NXT. But if they're going to give him a big push, why not? Becky Lynch, I'd like to see her come back when we have fans again. That's a guaranteed big pop. I don't want to see her appear at the Thunderdome. That's the thing. They did not have her appear at WrestleMania. So I say, let her spend some time with her kid. Bring her back around SummerSlam once WWE starts touring again. A great way to get people hyped up and wanting to attend live events. Becky's back. Let's go to a WWE show. Seems like a good idea to me. They could bring her back at Money in the Bank, have her win Money in the Bank. But if not, I say hold it off a little bit longer. And Mr. Tito sent in a $5 super chat. Mr. Tito, NoDQ's most popular columnist, says, does the panel think that WWE is punishing Becky Lynch for her night one social media trolling, which could have been seen to overshadow Belair versus Banks? I don't think so. I think maybe the thought process is, why bring her back when we're only having fans for one night and then we're going right back to the Thunderdome? I think it was just Becky doing her own thing. And John Cena trolls people all the time with teases that never happen. And WWE can't really do anything to Becky. She's their top star. They're not gonna punish her. She's probably one of the few that could actually get away with it. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, "Is Big G and Noah still doing their $100 on a pole match? What is that about, Big G? Anyways,
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I think somebody must have brought something up. I think it was Psycho, like way back when Noah was on, and about the wedding or whatever. And
I think it was during our Revolution predictions
I think
panel
so,
during a
probably.
big money match. I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The whole AEW thing, and
Yeah.
something about doing that at my wedding, and Aaron said bring the ladders, or he'll bring the pole or something like that. I don't know.
Well, Aaron said he would bring the pole, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Hey,
Off topic.
back to Mr. Tito's comment. I'd like my piece on this here. Absolutely, there's always a chance that something petty in WWE could have been to overshadow Belair and Banks. So somebody had Becky do that social media troll just to get the buzz to really stick it to Belair or Banks. But it could also happen the other way. It could have also got people buzzed for Becky to focus on that match even more. But I definitely agree there. WWE is petty. There's always somebody in that office that will get somebody to do something that's a rib like that. So that is a possibility. But also, I believe it could be a possibility that was a troll purposely designed to hype Belair and Banks in a different kind of way to focus on the women for night one as well.
All right, now Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you. Dwayne says, "Off topic, I apologize. Should Velveteen Dream been one of those released last week?" We've talked about this, and if WWE is not going to use him, I've always said, let the guy go. Let him go to the Indies and try to rebuild his reputation.
Let him team up with Leo Rush. They were tag team partners back when I first started watching them back in Maryland Championship Wrestling. So,
yeah. Now, Virtue, what do you think WWE should do with Dream? Should they just cut their losses with him, or should they just keep him under contract?
He's never been convicted of a crime. He's not going to court. He's not in jail. And so if he's a talent, now his injuries and those things might be the bigger issue, because you have to be reliable to be a top WWE star. Yeah. He's more likely to get cut because of that. But with his flamboyance, I think he's a guy that could catch Vince McMahon's eye in a Shawn Michaels type way. If he's convicted and something that he did something wrong and going to jail or this or that, yes, you cut ties with him. I mean, that's how it should be. But as far as I know, I don't believe he has been.
He's still very young. I want to say he's like 24, 25. So he's got his whole career ahead of him.
I mean, how do you get over a controversy like this? I mean, look what happened to Joey Ryan. I mean, it's going to be hard for Dream. It's going to be really hard for Dream.
Yeah. Noah, what do you think about this? I mean, what should WWE do with Dream, in your opinion?
I mean, well, they always go by the Creole, best for business. They're not using him, so clearly they're either looking into this, or maybe they're really figuring out, okay, maybe we should not have this guy affiliated with our company based on the circumstances that surround him. I guess until this is all clear, you just leave it under the rug. As long as he's not being showcased on your product, which you think could hurt y'all from a public appearance standpoint, I say right now, leave the Velveteen Dream where it is, because as far as I'm concerned, Dream don't exist right now.
All right, and Kim Hall sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Kim. Says, maybe Becky Lynch was supporting her man who was on night one. Let the woman be a mom and come back when she's ready. Agreed. Absolutely. Whenever Becky wants to come back, if she wants to come back next month, bring her back next month. If she wants to come back when there's fans again, let her come back when there's fans again. Ultimately, I think it should be her decision when she feels she's 100% ready to come back.
Mickie James came back to wrestling after she's been a mom, and then they sent her off with a garbage bag. So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, by the way, Stephanie McMahon announced on Twitter that she was pregnant, apologizing to Mickie James for what happened.
I want to find out who this, probably a no-name office person. I just want to find out who did that.
Yeah, that is really a bizarre story, because people were like,
dirt.
At first I saw comments about the photo that she posted, and people were like, well, what's the big deal about this? It's just a bag with her stuff. But apparently this was meant to be disrespectful towards her, and yeah, somebody got fired.
Well, there you go.
Well, Nick,
there you have it. No, did everybody chime in on Becky Lynch?
Yeah.
Pretty much, I'm just summing up everything they said. Becky, come back at the right time. Come back when there are fans for the biggest pop possible. It's been about a year. It makes sense for her to come back and reclaim what is hers, and that is the Raw Women's Championship. So we have yet to see Rhea versus Becky one-on-one. That'd be a great program. Maybe her and Asuka could be revisited since she passed off the title to her. Possibilities are there, but for now, let Becky be a mom, write her books, and come back when she's ready. For all we know, that night one thing, it might have been the first night she truly was working out.
How weird that the main event of WrestleMania 35, two of them were moms, and Charlotte, I mean, we've heard rumors and stuff. I mean, granted, you never know. She could be pregnant next. I mean,
it's entirely possible. I mean, it seems to be a trend right now in WWE especially.
I mean, Lacey is, even though she's nothing to do with them, but she was working a program with Charlotte. It's just weird. I mean,
COVID.
At least Ronda was nowhere close to WWE when she did it. She said she was going to take time off to go be a mom, got out of the title, got out of the storyline. That I respect, because that's respect to the business. I know women can work in an office or do any type of job, be a teacher, and then get pregnant and get their maternity leave. I understand that. Wrestling business, entertainment business, you have to kind of plan. Right. I mean, try to. But anyway, that's just my take. Congratulations to all the moms anyways. That's it. Ready? We know what this time is. Going around doing our plugs, and maybe we'll get out of here. I'm hoping. But sometimes this lingers on with these petty super chats. So, Big G, I'll have you kick the festivities off, see if we can get you off the hook from anybody asking you questions you don't know.
All right, so NoDQ.com/BigBallerG takes you to my Twitter page. NoDQ_BigBallerG1988 on Twitter. And that is it for me.
All right. Thank you, Big G. All right, Noah Foster, it's good to have you back this week.
Always glad to be here when I can. I'm sure I'll see you all again down the road sooner rather than later. People want to follow me, NoDQ.com/Noah takes to my Twitter, because I'm just a simple man, a lifelong fan of wrestling. Follow me on Instagram, AnnaFoster1916. There's a simple YouTube channel, youtube.com/C/NoahFoster210 for all things wrestling. And shout out to my ATW family on Twitter. As always, folks, just remember this. There are no winners, there are no losers, there are no bears. There are just fans with their own outlooks for this passion we all share. At the end of the day, support one another, respect each other, and just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling. And good luck to Greg Cherry next week on episode 100. Simple as that.
Thank you for being on, Noah. And shout out to the Cleaver, Colin Andrew, NoDQ.com/Colin. All right, over to you, Aaron Rift. And I see him popping in already.
Yep. This is what we call No DQ After Dark. So you guys know, for those of you that are new to the No DQ review, sometimes we go late because we get these last-minute super chats. We have like 4 of them here. So we're going to be here a little bit longer, everybody, until somebody taps out or people stop sending super chats. It's yet to happen. We haven't had it yet where somebody just keeps sending in super chats, so we're on for like an extra hour. It's never happened before, but this...
Don't say that.
All right, so anyways, we'll start with SSBS Fanboy, who sent in a $5 super chat. This is for you, Big G. Get ready. Think. Who said this? Can you afford to pay me to wrestle Ron? I don't know. Do you know who that is?
Was that a JBL thing?
No. Noah, do you know?
I do not.
Noah does not know. Virtue, do you know? What Noah does not know?
No.
Okay. Virtue does not know what Noah did not know, and Big G did not know it either. It was Lex Luger when he had that T-shirt that was too tight. Look up that promo, Lex Luger versus a T-shirt on YouTube. Thank me later. Shanti,
I think I know which one you're talking about now.
Shanti sent in a $2 super chat, says, best and worst WCW entrance. All right, Big G, I know WCW was before your time, but is there anything that stood out to you in WCW?
Well, I like the NWO entrance.
I mean, that's a great choice.
That's an obvious choice. I don't know I can't think of a worst one. I like the the Nitro Girls. I don't know if that was an entrance.
Of course you do, Big G.
I know one that's the best and the worst at the same time. Glacier.
That was the one I was thinking of.
Great entrance, and that was about it as far as the character went.
As far as worst, I really can't. I guess Mongo. I don't know.
Mongo?
I don't know.
What? Where did that come from? Mongo?
Oh boy.
I don't know. I was just throwing some random name that somebody wrote on there.
We
So I
should
was
throw
like,
you
oh,
a
whatever.
timeout for that one, Big G. What about Goldberg? Goldberg had a great entrance with the smoke and breathing in the smoke and the pyro and everything. Goldberg has to be up there at the top.
Sting,
Okay.
Crow Sting.
Speaking of Mongo, okay, this must have been why Big G mentioned Mongo. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. You better know this, Big G. Your favorite Mongo matches and moments. I expect at least 5 or 6 Mongo matches here. Mongo Mat classics from you, Big G. You got to tell us Steve Mongo McMichael, a ring general, a technical wizard, excellence of execution. Tell us about Mongo. Go.
I have no idea.
Oh, come on.
I have no idea.
You're holding back on
You
us.
even said
He was in the Four Horsemen.
He was a
okay, that's the only thing I
He
know.
had his little dog.
He had his dog who luckily Mongo was not in WWE because the dog probably would have been fed to Al Snow.
Deborah McMichael. He botched a lot.
Well, a couple of times. He botched a little bit. But my favorite Mongo match was probably the Great American Bash when he turned heel and joined the Horsemen. And that's pretty much the only Mongo match I remember. The Goldberg matches were awful.
Dude,
pretty much every match he was in was awful.
Oh, my God.
All right. Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $5 super chat. All right. This is for Big G. I'm not even sure if I know this one. Maybe
I know.
Maybe I don't.
If you were paying attention to the Wrestling Trivia Challenge, I know.
Were you cheating? Were you looking it up? Or
no, I watched the Wrestling Trivia Challenge finals, and that was one of the questions.
All right, so you could tell us here. Dwayne Atkinson with $5. Big G, who did Vader face at In Your House? It's Time.
Nobody.
Is that true, Virtue?
I don't know. Mankind? I'm just guessing. I can't remember.
Somebody look that up. I'm not even sure.
According to Greg, it is correct because that was the answer.
Oh, okay, well then.
Yeah, I told you. You pay attention to the Wrestling Trivia Challenge.
I watched the show too, Big G. Like I said, if it's only NXT UK, and AEW, I would destroy it. Anything else, not so much.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Tito sent in $2, says, favorite Steve Austin match? Well, for me, it's obviously the Bret Hart match. The Rock would be up there, the WrestleMania 17 match, although I think I like the 19 match even better. But 1 would be WrestleMania 13 with Bret, submission match. 2 would be versus The Rock, 19, and then 3 would be 17. Virtue?
Bret versus Austin. I also, not in a work way, I liked WrestleMania 14 when Michaels put Austin over. Even though it was nothing great, but knowing now that Michael's back was blown up, that something about knowing that. I really appreciate that 15 minutes that they did.
All right, Noah Foster?
I mean, you kind of took a couple of mine. Definitely. I recently just finished rewatching WrestleMania 19 because I loved that match particularly so much, the end of their trilogy. Definitely up there, number 1 is the Bret Hart and Hart, but I'm going to go a little bit of a different tangent. SummerSlam when he faced the Undertaker. I thought that was a pretty good match too.
I agree with you on that, Noah. I really liked that match a lot. Big G, what's your favorite?
I mean, you guys pretty much mentioned everything that I thought. What am I supposed to say? I mean, I could repeat.
At least you didn't say when Owen broke his neck at SummerSlam.
Huh?
At least you didn't say when Owen Hart broke his neck at SummerSlam.
Big G, just say versus Triple H, 3 stages of hell.
Okay. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says your favorite Survivor Series matches and moments. Okay. So I'll start and I'll name them all so Big G can just agree or add one more to the list. So Undertaker's debut would be up there. Randy Orton being the sole survivor all those years would be up there. The screw job, of course, was a classic moment. And I liked the wild card match from 95. I think that's a very underrated match. I thought that one was really fun. And of course, the first Elimination Chamber. Virtue, any that you would, you were at 92.
That was at 1992 at Richfield Coliseum in Cleveland. The whole Mr. Perfect thing with Macho Man versus was it Razor and Ric Flair, because Perfect was going to leave and then he stopped. I had an aisle seat. There's pictures of it on the internet. I was in a white turtleneck with a flat top. He literally stopped right in front of me and did the whole, should I go back? And I was one of the little arms that said, go back. and Perfect went back to the ring. So
that's got to be
that had Shawn Michaels' first pay-per-view main event ever versus Bret Hart.
What's up with Big G?
I'm still here.
He gone. He's shutting down.
All right. So Big G, go ahead with yours.
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
His brain's shutting down.
We're losing viewers here, Big G. You got to keep it going. You got to think on your.
We've been on an incredible run on the NoDQ review, and
I know
the YouTube algorithm is on. It's good overall social media.
It is a Survivor Series. Okay.
Like if you were gonna go to the network and click on Survivor Series, what's the first thing?
Okay, obviously the 2002 Elimination Chamber match. I enjoyed that thoroughly.
Let's say 98 Deadly Game. That's a really good one.
Okay, 98. I don't know. There's like so much to go through. It's just when it comes to the whole favorite and some of the stuff, I like, but there's so many to name. I just can't think of them right on the spot. So
you guys are putting too much pressure on Big G here.
This is the content you need to create on your YouTube channel.
You got more super chats to roll through. Let's go.
Okay, so we'll give Big G some more time to come up with a list. Okay, Josh Mansfield with a $2 super chat says favorite virtue moment. All hail the debate king. Would he beat Mr. Tito? That was the best moment in debate history, and I want that rematch for Saturday night, but Mr. Tito just ignores it.
Debate is subjective. Nobody truly wins or loses.
You're so humble.
It's all about Tito's supporters supporting him, my supporters supporting me, and at some point, yes, we will have round 2.
I mean, it is.
Tell that to Eric Bischoff.
Everybody wins on the debate because we have a good discussion.
Yeah. Also, Big G Survivor Series 2019. You're welcome. Moving on.
Okay. Shanti with the $2 super chat says best and worst entrance in ECW. All right.
Lord.
I will say Sandman. I think that's an iconic entrance with Metallica, Enter Sandman. Yeah. Not quite as good overdubbed on the WWE network with the generic music, but Enter Sandman, that's one of the most iconic entrances of all time.
I think oh my God, they're bringing more.
The worst one ECW is probably Lance Storm. I saw in Youngstown a live ECW event. He came out to some generic music, just like his old boring self with his hands up in the air. Lance Storm, worst entrance in ECW.
Yeah, and I'm going with Sandman for the best because I've seen Sandman live in an independent wrestling promotion come out to literally that theme, that Metallica theme.
All right, Mr. Tito sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Tito. And maybe Tito will actually come on the debate this weekend. We'll see. He's got kids. He's got housework. He's got video games to play. So it's tough to get him down for a time. Tito says, who said you must have given up on hair plugs, so now you'll have to pay? Big G. Got any idea? I think I know who it is, but I'm not sure. Big G, you want to take a crack?
I have no freaking clue.
Okay. I think it's Jerry Lawler, but I'm not sure. Virtue or
that sounds good. I'll go with Jerry Lawler.
That sounds like a king pun.
It does very much. Okay, so Detective Mocha sent in a $2 super chat. Says, do you think AJ Lee will come back and against who? I think there's a decent chance. In a way, I think there's less of a chance of her coming back than CM Punk, just because she wasn't as big of a star as CM Punk. But I think she was a big deal for the women's revolution. At the very least, I think we will see her in the Hall of Fame someday. Maybe one more match, but to me, it's not one of those slam dunk predictions. I do think we will see CM Punk back. And AJ Lee, maybe a Hall of Fame induction, maybe one more match, but I'm not quite as sure about it. Big G, what do you think? What are the odds in your opinion?
I think she would come back. She could have great matches with Rhea Ripley, Asuka, Charlotte, anybody in the women's division now. She would have a great match with. When I would save it for a big pay-per-view like SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, or Survivor Series.
All right, Virtue, you want to go ahead and give us a breakdown about the possibilities for AJ Lee?
I mean, she could come back wherever Punk comes back, maybe as a duo. That would really shock the world.
Yeah.
You know, it would be nice if they could have one more match apiece. I don't know if Paige will ever get cleared, but Paige and AJ Lee to have another match would be fantastic if Paige was ever cleared.
Agree.
All right. So Noah Foster agrees. We'll move on to the next one.
Big G, don't do the like me. Do I want to get out of here and all turn? That's me. I do that, not
He
you.
needs to piss, man.
Get a bottle.
Dick Black with a $2. Maybe that's why he turned his camera on. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, "Who is a better wrestler, Lance Storm or Dean Malenko?" So I will say, I'll say Lance Storm was actually a more charismatic wrestler, and that's saying something. With all due respect to Dean Malenko, Dean Malenko, not a very charismatic guy, but
in the cruiserweight division in WCW, it worked. I go Dean Malenko, and I like Lance Storm.
I mean, Lance Storm's got integrity, but Dean Malenko, the man of 1,000 holds, he took the cruiserweight division to a whole different level.
He had a great feud with Jericho, too, in WCW. Oh, Tito said Bloodhound Gang? That was the answer to his question? Bloodhound Gang? It's not even wrestling, is it?
No, it's a band.
What the hell is going on here with the super chats? What the?
Oh my gosh!
All right, we're seriously going to need a pause, or we're never going to get to these. Okay, Psycho Jet Black said that one. We got that one, and I like Dean Malenko, good wrestler, great wrestler. But Lance Storm, I thought, was a better promo, so I'll say that.
Psycho Jet Black like saying. I don't even know what to compare that to, but oh my God, Lance Storm's a better promo than Dean Malenko.
His promos at WCW were really good when he was the shit champion and all that. Like, I thought Lance was doing a great job. The Saskatchewan Hardcore Invitational title. All right, Psycho Jet Black says, "What was the worst Batista match ever?" You know what? I can't think of any, so I'm just going to say that last match with Triple H, a match that I had no interest in seeing, and I guess it was okay, but didn't do much for me. Big Baller G, any bad Batista match? Well, how about Khali? Probably Khali, one of those.
What was it, Punjabi prison match back in like 2007 or whatever?
The very first one.
The very first one. That one, and I would say 35.
There was one, I think it was that Punjabi prison match where he jumped from one cage to the other.
That was with the Big Show.
That was really cool. So I would not say that one. I'm just going to say the Triple H, the last match he did.
Yeah.
All right. SSBS Fanboy with a $2 super chat says, "Favorite Dean Ambrose moments?" Pretty much everything with the Shield. Winning the world title was a big moment. The Shield triple threat match. And then, I don't know. Noah Foster, you got any that you could think of off the top of your head?
I enjoyed his Intercontinental Championship match with Kevin Owens that was last man standing at the Royal Rumble, and every time he did that rebound lariat, I loved when he executed that move.
All right. Virtue?
I don't know. For Dean Ambrose, just when he was in the Shield and the Shield did the Wyatt stuff, I can't really – that was more memorable for Ambrose stuff to me. Whereas solo stuff, it's all been Reigns and Rollins more memorable than Ambrose. So I'm going to say when Ambrose was in the Shield.
All right. Shield versus Wyatt family was a great moment too. All right. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, "Greatest item on a pole match ever, Judy Bagwell."
That was on a forklift, wasn't it?
Oh, you're right. So never mind. Viagra on a pole.
Viagra.
That's the one I was thinking of.
All right.
How many more do we got?
Like 10. Not Psycho Jet Black. I'm used to saying Psycho Jet Black. Johnny Boy with a $5 super chat says, "Thoughts on Bryan's out-of-body experience at WrestleMania? Who would you have as his retirement match?" Okay, so for those of you that missed it, the interview recaps on NoDQ, Bryan talked about how like he felt out of body and something was off for him, and Virtue thinks it's a work.
Definitely.
And, I think he's winding his career down, and I think he could just be saying that to keep people guessing, keep people wondering, like, what's going to happen. Is he really leaving WWE? Is he really going to wind his career down? Like, that's how you get people interested. You keep them guessing. You don't want it to be predictable. So Virtue could be right. Very well could be a work. Big G, any thoughts on it?
No.
Right.
He almost didn't respond. He's going to sit
no
there
longer
still and act
happy
like
to
he's
be
frozen.
here. There's only so far the happiness goes. All right. Dwayne Atkinson with a $5 super chat says, happy belated birthday, Big G. You're so awesome. I am a big fan of you.
Oh, thank you.
We appreciate that, Dwayne Atkinson. Thank you for that. And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, as an apology for EC3, name your favorite moments. Well, probably the stuff he did in TNA/Impact Wrestling as Dixie's nephew. And the ass-kicking machine feuding with the top guys, Lashley and so forth. Like, EC3 did pretty well. WWE, like, there's pretty much nothing. Maybe the ladder match he was in for the North American title.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
He had very few good WWE moments, unfortunately. Because I don't think there's...
Derek Bateman, there you go.
That's way back.
Way back.
All right, so next we have Mike D with a $2 super chat, says, how about them New York Knicks? Well, I know nothing about them.
Yeah, they're over 500. They're in the playoff picture.
Is that good?
Mm-hmm. I mean, considering how bad they've been the last 15 years, yeah. They're competitive again.
All right.
Well, that's news to me.
Josh Mansfield with a $2 super chat says, favorite Mickie James moment in honor of the legend. Well, I think her biggest match was probably the WrestleMania match with Trish Stratus in 2006. Yeah. And then when she came back at, I think it was Toronto, 2016.
NXT TakeOver Toronto, correct. She took on Asuka.
That was a really good match, and that's what got her basically rehired in WWE. So, that would be one of her top moments. That and the Trish Stratus match, I think, were probably her two best matches in WWE. Big G, do you have a favorite? No.
Those two are pretty good. And then didn't she beat Lita in her retirement match too? Back in Survivor Series, like 2006 or something like that.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't recall her beating Lita. I know Unforgiven 2006, it was Lita versus Trish, and Trish retired as champion.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking the year after or something like that. I can't remember.
All right. Big G, this super chat. Do you know this woman?
No, I don't.
She works for Fightful. I've seen her name before.
She does work with Figure 4 too. So Big G would probably lose, I'm guessing.
Probably.
Wait, what are we saying here?
Virtue's just like totally.
It's like trivia, pass.
Yeah, trivia, we're done with that. Okay, so now the only other super chat I think we have left here. Psycho Jet Black says, your favorite Pink songs and albums. You in Your Hand, Let's Get the Party Started. Don't Let Me Get Me is a good one. And that one she did with the guy from Fun, Give Me a Reason, that's a really good one. And I think I've made myself very uncool by knowing that many Pink songs. Anybody else have a good Pink song they want to name?
Nah,
it's been like 15 years. So I'd have to research and look them up. I forgot.
I would have to literally go to Spotify. I got nothing.
And then we had another.
It wasn't Moulin Rouge, the song.
And then we had another super chat. I apologize, it's not popping up here, but there was a super chat. Favorite Beatles songs of all time.
Didn't we do this one before? Yeah, we did that one before.
Yeah, so
pretty sure we did.
Yellow Submarine, Hey Bulldog, Help, Helter Skelter. Everybody's Got Something to Hide except for Me and My Monkey. Back in the USSR, Penny Lane, Day Tripper, We Can Work It Out, Taxman, Eleanor Rigby, I'm Only Sleeping. Want me to keep going?
Go for it.
I prefer Bob Dylan.
All right, name your top 50 Bob Dylan songs.
Well, I mean, I could say, let's see, Times Are Changing, Blowing in the Wind. How about Forever Young? That's a great Bob Dylan song.
That's a really great one.
Agree.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Now you're gonna send me down the Bob Dylan rabbit hole, so I'm gonna cut it off right there.
Okay.
But,
yeah. All right. I think we're caught up here. I think we're good now.
Oh my gosh. All right. So did everybody do their plugs?
Yes.
All right.
NoDQ.com, because we got a lot of news up on the site, whether it's the Mickie James controversy that's going on now, or all the news about Daniel Bryan, what's up with him. NoDQ.com has you updated. It's been a crazy day. We got the financial results for the first quarter of 2021. All that stuff up on NoDQ.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and everybody that has stuck around for this whole thing. Oh, and Detective Mocha with a $2 super chat says, missed the Braun panties match? Imagine now. Wow. Well, the thing is, you would have to watch it on the Peacock while you still can, because those matches, who knows how long they'll be around at this point.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and by the way, the greatest song ever written, how did I not mention this? Bob Dylan. Don't think twice. It's all right. Everybody, go to YouTube. Well, you're on YouTube. When we're done doing this video, go listen to that song by Bob Dylan. Anyway, you can follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_virtue. Go to my Facebook, NoDQ.com/virtue. Also, NoDQ.com/merch, and look for all the great shirts like the one I'm wearing here, Virtue the Debate King. For Big G, for Noah Foster, the Simple Man, and for Aaron Riff, I am Virtue. Thank you for all the super chats in this hour and 25-minute discussion. This has been the NoDQ review number 136. We will see you next time.